What's up, guys? I'm back. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back. Welcome, Media Talks TV. I am your host, Tony J. And, I took a little sabbatical, had to recollect my thoughts and recollect my thoughts, and come back on here and drop another video, you know. So, let's talk about this whole Cesar Chavez thing. Matter of fact, before I jump into that, I I know it's a lot of shit that's been going on in the past couple of weeks, and it's gonna take me a while to break some of this shit down because it's so much that has happened that now I gotta make maybe really make this video to let my subscribers know you know what to look out for right now. So America yet again finds itself in a chokehold all across the globe. And right now, we don't know where this is going to go. The war in Iran and what's going to happen. But I will tell you this, make sure y'all paying attention. Make sure y'all looking out for these fucking distractions. Because, you know, it feels like everything is coming full circle for the United States. And I remember when I was younger what the distractions were. And media has this funny way of fucking with people, you know. And when I was younger and I would watch TV, the one thing I understood about communication is noise. And sometimes we as Americans, we don't understand the idea of noise. The noise that you hear in the media and the distractions, it was easy to catch those things when we were in the analog era because you knew what the scandals were. You knew what the controversies are. So it wasn't this thing where with the 24-hour news cycle, well, what happened yesterday was yesterday and what happened today is today. But you knew that people were going to cover that story. Well, now because you got social media and because a lot of people nowadays live on their phones, there's so many distractions out there that people are not paying attention to what's going on. And, you know, with this war in Iran that's happening, it's a distraction from a bigger problem that's taking place in the United States. And whether you believe me or not, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to believe or not to believe, but you see it for your own eyes. They're trying to fuck with the currency. They're trying to fuck with the dollar. And with all these alliances that are happening around the world, we're about to see the United States be in a place where it's never been before, where people are shutting, well, other countries are shutting themselves off from depending on America as a super ally. And what we've seen over the last couple of months with Europe, with the UK, everything is kind of like there's these alliances forming all over the world where they're trying to cut the United States out, where we're going to be completely on our own as far as international trades go. You know, I'm just saying, like, for all of us, for all of you that's listening, America is about to be in another place that is never it's about to be in a place that has never been before. And like I said, watch out for the distractions. I thought this video was going to really be about Cesar Chavez. I was going to talk about Cesar Chavez, but I feel like I shouldn't talk about just Cesar Chavez. I think I should talk about the hypocrisy of what this controversy is bringing, that there's two sides to this thing. Because just a few months ago, we were talking about Epstein files. We were talking about Epstein, and the media was talking about Epstein. The media was questioning Epstein's involvement with Donald Trump. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about fucking Cesar Chavez and what he did 50 years ago. I mean, what do you expect? All these distractions. Man been fucking dead for 30 years. And they want to take his name and statue, take it down, street names from something that happened that cannot be proven. That hasn't been proven. Now I understand they are victims. I understand that when things happen like this, it's important to come forward at that very moment that it happens. But you waited 33 years after his death to come out and say that this happened. Yet, yet in some weird way, we're not willing to question Donald Trump's connection with Epstein. They wanted us to release they everybody kept asking to release the files. Victims were coming forward. Prince Andrew was arrested. Then all of a sudden, we wake up to a war in Iran. That's funny. Distractions. All we need is more fucking distractions. All we need are more psyops. What do I mean by psyops? I mean psychological operations, psychological warfare. It's like they playing with our minds to keep us distracted from the real hard issue. And the real hard issue in the United States right now is people can't afford to fucking live here. That's the real issue. Not regime change, not if Cuba has enough oil. It's fucking people around this country that are living in their fucking cars, TSA agents working without a paycheck, been on 2 weeks and having had a paycheck. But they want you to think that Cesar Chavez and what he did in the past was more important than you being able to afford to put a roof over your head, to be able to afford a car, to be able to afford an apartment. Cesar Chavez is more important than your ability to afford a life in the United States. And this is what the media is doing. These people are playing on your fucking mind and you don't even realize it. But I realize it because the thing about sociology and understanding the world at large is I understood noise when I was younger. You put two and two together. It's hard for people to understand and identify frameworks. When the Clinton scandal happened, when the Monica Lewinsky issue happened in 1998, there was this man by the name of Osama bin Laden who bombed several places in Kenya, who was going around blowing up ships, and apparently people ignored it, even though they knew he was a threat. But while Osama bin Laden was doing all these things, and this was in 1998, we were worried more about Bill Clinton's sex life than the threat of terrorism. Then years and years went by. People continued to talk about it, the sex scandal. By the time we got to the election of George W. Bush, then the threat became real. Then we had 9/11. Distractions. When things were going on in the world, every time we get close to questioning our leaders, questioning the integrity of our leaders, all of a sudden they want to go to war. All of a sudden they want to bomb something. Then you start seeing these patterns. Every time there's a scandal, scandal here, scandal there. Then when we get close to figuring it out, then something tragic happens. Just like 2019 when we wanted to impeach Donald Trump the first time. Congress was so focused, we were so focused on wanting to impeach a sitting president that year after that, we didn't realize COVID-19 was coming around the corner. Distraction. Everything happens for a reason. And what's so crazy is the media wants to focus on minute subjects, but not major subjects that impact your personal life. They impact all of our personal lives. Some of you that are listening to this right now can't afford to put food in your refrigerator, can't afford to put gas in your gas tank, but you worried about Cesar Chavez. They want me to worry about Cesar Chavez. I'm like, I don't know nothing about Cesar Chavez and I don't care. He's dead. I don't give a fuck. But what I do give a fuck about is being able to have some money in my pocket to manage my bills and to manage my life. You know, we can't go down this fucking rabbit hole, this Me Too rabbit hole either. Now I'm gonna talk about that in another video because I feel like we're going back right down that rabbit hole again with this whole Me Too fiasco, and I'm getting sick and tired of that as well. I'm sick of Me Too at this point. All these women do is run around and lob accusations without any factual proof. We got people out here lying, trying to have social media attention, but yet your ability to put food on the table, that should matter more than somebody or some shit that happened over 50 to 60 years ago. I'm sorry for being insensitive, but I ain't not worried about that bullshit right now. And most of y'all ain't worried about that bullshit either, because at the end of the day, if I can't afford to live in the United States, then what else really matters at this point? If you're a TSA agent and you can't afford to be working without pay, then that should matter more than anything else. But we've prioritized stupid shit. We prioritize stuff on the internet more than we prioritize our lives. And I think that's a very, very big issue. We've had so many social media things happen. I've had to step back from social media for a little bit because sometimes you could get sucked into this shit and it be an addiction. And I'm not trying to have these types of addictions in my life. And that's one of the things why I don't post as frequently as I usually do, because I'm not into this shit just chasing likes and subscribers. I put my message out and then I leave. A lot of people on this shit, on this platform, they try to use it to make money off of it, which you really truly can't. But there has to be a balance somewhere. And, you know, distractions can take you off a path of consciousness. And that's what I realized when I step back from this stuff. It's important to have a conscience when you put something out into the world, because most of the time, whatever you putting out to the world, you're going to get it back as energy. And that's what social media is like. Most people don't have control over this stuff. But even in the midst of that, you know, social media has become like a drug in a sense. It's like kids chasing a high. And we put stuff out there for likes, clicks, and entertainment, but we don't inform each other on what's going on in the space. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is inform you about what's going on in the news cycle, what's going on in the world, because nobody else is talking about it. I'm the only one trying to talk about it. But you need to be aware of what's happening in the United States. You need to be aware that alliances around the world globally are shifting. And whatever happens in Iran will will impact the entire world, because Iran could literally turn the lights out on us if they wanted to. And this could go to another level. You think the oil crisis might get bad? Imagine what happens if China attacks Taiwan. Then that's a global conflict on the east and the Middle East and in the West. A conflict, a multi-level conflict on both fronts would be tragic for the United States, and we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Taiwan and China makes most of our semiconductors for some of these computers that you have in your home. Imagine if they cut that supply off. Just gone. Oil, gone. Then what the fuck do you have left? There's a price for war. And the one thing I learned about the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war and the war in Afghanistan is that if we're not careful in dealing with the Middle East, they will destroy the whole entire world. And the Iranians, they don't back down from anybody. There's some tough sons of bitches. You understand the culture of our Iran. There's some tough sons of bitches. And one of the biggest Iranians that I know of was the Iron Sheik from days of wrestling. Iron Sheik was a bad motherfucker. Iranians do not back down from a fight. Neither do the Afghanistans or the Persians and other people in the Middle East. And this conflict that's going on between Israel and Iran is going to have a tremendous impact on the United States. And it's something that we gotta brace ourselves for because I don't think we're gonna get out of this shit. But I'm telling you, be sure that you pay attention to these distractions and try to sift out what's the most important thing that's impacting your life and not be so caught up in fucking innuendo or somebody else's past because that's the most important thing. Both parties are problematic and these tech companies are problematic. And one of the things that I've understood very vividly now is the true power right now is coming from Silicon Valley. But there's no one that wants to put these companies in check. So then you got to ask yourself, well, make sure you pay attention to the distractions and don't get caught up in the bullshit. We got a short enough attention span as it is. This has been another Media Talks TV. I'm Tony J. I got more videos coming up. Be sure to tune in. If you're new here, welcome to Media Talks TV. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Um, got some more stuff coming up. Make sure you stay informed. Because one thing right now is nobody is being informed right now. People are being indoctrinated.